Happy Saturday morning, everybody. Josh Hudson with Club Fantasy, and this is week one. It is our start sit, different day show. You guys run this show. Ask all of your pressing week one lineup questions. Myself, Ryan Weiss, Faith Enes, and special guest Oklahoma Doug when he gets back from the ranch. Stay tuned.
I mean, that intro video is a vibe.
Dope
Right?
Was that's Joe Zolo who did that?
Mr. Joe Zolo himself, which sadly could not be here today. That's okay.
Sadly, he's off betting.
I'd say he's gambling with family, which is exactly the vibe of this show.
He's learning how to gamble, which is exactly the vibe of this show. Speaking of learning how to gamble, Kira's first DFS article is out. Hey-o.
Yes.
Kira's Cash Grabs. Go read it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Start, Sit, Different Day. I'm really glad that's written up there because every single week I forget which goes first. Is it start, sit? Is it sit, start? I really don't remember. It's a legitimate confusion.
You're the host. It's literally whatever you want. So
you heard that, Josh.
Ay.
We better have opposite graphics set up for what she says. We have to just flip it around real quick.
Real quick. Good morning, everybody. Like I said, welcome to Starts at Different Day. I am Faith. Below me, with a beautifully trimmed, way less creepy mustache, is Ryan Weiss.
Right.
And next to me is Josh Hudson. Again, Joe Zolo usually joins us, but he's off learning how to play craps. I think that's what he said. What do you need to learn how to know? You throw dice.
Oh, no, the betting is relatively complicated. Marlia was taught and did really well, and now every time we go by a casino,
she's a boss.
I was going to say, she crushes everything she touches.
She's like Midas. Everything she touches turns to gold.
Including me.
Well... I would like to say thank you for this brevity this morning. I have spent this morning, like I do every September 11th, watching TV and crying because that's just what happens.
Definitely a different day.
So, So to that point, I just want to address that 20 years later, the same feelings are still then. I really wish that we were the same country we were in the days following 9/11, where everybody, no matter what your differences were, you all came together and you all agreed on this. But right now we are all coming together to agree that we need help on who we're starting and who we're sitting tomorrow. And that's why we're here.
Let's do it.
Little comedic relief, a little knowledge, a little
mustache.
What the hell? A little mustache.
And I love this. We already have questions in the chat. It's fantastic.
Indeed.
All right. To that point,
I say we jump into questions. Let's make the show about them. We'll get back to injuries later.
That's where I was going.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. I'm not going to read that name. Wants to know if they trade Gaskin for Mixon.
If you're getting Mixon, you make that trade immediately before the person wises up, because you're getting a bell cow back for someone who is rumored to be in a committee. I want Mixon all day in that half.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the souring on Mixon is just because he missed half the year last year. Like if everybody misses games and you try to copy and paste from year to year, you're destined for failure. You take that trade, you get Joe Mixon in your lineup every week.
Okay. Thomas says that he's facing Dak and Cooper this week. Nice stack for whoever that is.
Pour one
and
out.
So he needs upside. So who is he sitting out of Aaron Jones versus against New Orleans, Nick Chubb against Kansas City, or Mixon versus Minnesota?
First of all, Thomas, thanks for putting the opponents, because my goodness, how much easier can you make our job?
And they need all the help they can get.
Ain't that the truth? If I'm playing upside, I'm probably benching Nick Chubb. I think Jones is going to feast. I'm thinking 2, maybe 3 touchdowns for Aaron Jones this week. I think the Bengals are going to be behind, but I think we're going to see a lot of, I'm assuming this is PPR, I think we're going to see a lot of pass catching by Mixon. I go the other way in the Browns game. I think this is going to be more of a Kareem Hunt game, not because it's a revenge game. I just think the Browns are going to need to throw a lot, and Chubb's going to get it done, but I don't think the upside is there. With Mixon and Jones, I see the upside 20-plus point weeks available for you.
See, I'm of the opposite thinking. Of these three, I would be Jones. Obviously, Mixon is the upside play here. Minnesota's defense was absolutely atrocious last year. You still need a decent floor, and even if, again, this Browns-Kansas City game, I believe, is the highest over-under of the week, there's going to be points that are scored. The Browns can keep pace with Kansas City's air attack just by running the football because Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are that freaking good. So I'm not worried about sitting Chubb because they're going to throw the ball more. He's going to get worked in. He's going to have even a couple pass plays here and there. He's going to run the football, and he's going to average a ton of yards per carry. Aaron Jones, that Saints defensive front is absolutely legit. Last year against New Orleans, he was RB15 on the week. So, again, if you're chasing upside, RB15 is not it. So take that for what you will. I think you have three really good options, obviously. But, again, Mixon to me offers the most upside. And then from that point, it's Jones or Chubb. I don't think there's really a wrong answer, personally. But for me, it would be Jones, I'd say.
Trixie thinks that's the wrong answer.
That's right.
She has
my dog doesn't deal with your bullshit. Aaron Jones. Tell him, Trix.
Having met Trixie now, that's like it has a whole different meaning.
Exactly. Right.
I would just on Saturdays since this.
I would like to state for the record that Trixie warmed up to me much quicker than she warmed up to Josh. Because she knows Josh is bullshit.
Wow.
She knew he was going to say to bench Aaron Jones. She doesn't play those games. She said, you don't bench Brian's RB4.
Well, let's be honest. You don't bench Nick Chubb. So
first of all, if you're choosing between those three, who's your flex? That's the question we should have asked.
Somebody golden. Mike wants to know, are we still benching Austin?
I never was. That guy's off learning how to play craps. So I know Joe was all about
that guy.
Austin Eckler. I think there's going to be a great pass catching opportunity. Again, I'm assuming full PPR. I have Eckler still fired up in DFS lineups. I'm not benching Austin Eckler this week.
I saw an interesting tweet from Edwin, the fantasy points injury expert. I can't remember what his last name is right now. He was saying that from 2018 to 2019, he listed out all of the high profile players that were coming into games off hamstring injuries that were like missing practice, and then playing. Okay. I don't think a single one of them scored over 5 fantasy points.
Interesting.
So that alone should tell you, tread carefully with Austin Eckler. But again, it really just depends on your options at this point, because you drafted Austin Eckler to play and start for you every single week that he's healthy and he's playing. So unless you're going through and you're already down because you face Dak or you face Cooper or Lamb or Antonio Brown, you need to chase the upside, in which case I don't think Eckler has that this week. And quite honestly, I don't really love his floor either. So I'm treading carefully. I don't know that I would outright bench him the way that Joe has been pretty adamant about saying that from our Wednesday show. But again, it all depends on your options.
I'd say you sound pretty clear, though, that me playing him in DFS is a mistake.
I would definitely not play him in DFS. Because then again, at that point, you have better options because you can start whoever the hell you want if you fit him with under the salary cap. So, yeah, I would avoid Eckler at all costs in DFS. But in redraft and dynasty, whatever you're playing in season-long type formats, I'm probably fading him if I have better options.
Speaking of Austin Eckler, our good friend Liz Loza, I just said good friend, has a show with Austin Eckler weekly because she's another baller like that. So if you haven't seen that, you should go check it out. You can find details on her Twitter or Instagram. Also, if you're not following her on Instagram, you're missing out on that too. Okay, so we have a follow-up. He feels like he's going to need to throw in another player to sell it. So my assumption is that he's trying to get Mixon.
Yeah.
So who should he add? Gage or Terrace Marshall?
I'm going to go next level strategy here for you. You throw in Terrace Marshall because rookie wide receivers take time. And then that guy's going to cut Terrace Marshall in 3 weeks, and then you bring him back to your team for the inevitable later season blow up. Marshall could actually have a great week against the Jets this week, though. So, yeah, I would throw in Gage.
Yeah, I would throw Gage, too. I think the hype on him in the offseason started to gain traction, and then it slowly faded. But, again, Philly secondary is god-awful. Gage could go for 6 catches, 75 yards.
I was going to say that same standard, though, if the hype faded, he may not be enough to get the deal done. Don't be afraid to throw Marshall in there. That it's worth the upgrade of Gaskin to mix in.
Yeah, these guys. Again, I would probably start with Gage, rookie hype, and then move to the rookie hype, and then you could play your strategy of, in 3 weeks he's going to get cut anyway. So,
okay, in a flex spot in a half PPR, are you starting Swift or Cooks?
I'm assuming this is Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift, Brandon Cooks.
I would go Brandon Cooks personally. I'm not the biggest Tyrod Taylor fan, but San Francisco's defensive front is stout, and I know people are like, "Oh, well, Swift is going to catch a ton of passes." He could, but I'm not really trying to bet on that. So
I say he's coming off injury himself.
So. Exactly, and groin injuries are honestly worse than hamstring injuries. So
I would also go Cooks. Cooks is actually my wide receiver 11 for the week.
Woo, spicy.
It's a spicy meatball. Okay, to follow up on Michael's question about Austin Eckler, he has Swift, Henderson, and Lindsey. If you don't want to start Austin, give him 2 of those 3 in a PPR format.
He also has Latavius Murray. He threw in at the very last second there.
I wouldn't touch Latavius Murray. I'll tell you that much.
Nah, I bench Lindsey. I don't have the faith that everybody else does. I could easily see this being an Ingram and other guy, David Johnson type game where Ingram handles the early down work and then the team gets down and they need to go into pass pro and David Johnson takes over. So
I think here I would probably go Swift and Lindsey. Again, not the biggest Swift fan, but Lindsey's going to get the early down work, and the Jaguars' front is just abysmal. I believe they were second worst amongst running backs last year, second or third. Like, they were top 3. Like, they gave up a ton of fantasy points to running backs. And even if Lindsey doesn't catch a single pass that game, he's going to have every opportunity to run all over this defense.
Okay, so with zero context whatsoever, Ayuk against Detroit or Judy against the Giants?
Carrington is one of my followers. We DM often. I'm willing to bet this is PPR based on the habits that we've developed.
Okay. So based on Ryan's deductive reasoning, are you starting Ayuk against Detroit or Judy against the Giants in an alleged PPR format?
Ayuk.
It's Ayuk for me as well. I think Judy has a big season. I think he could probably have a big game, but I'm very high on Brandon Ayuk.
This is what I hate admitting as an Eagles fan. The Giants' defense is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
And James Bradbury, they just brought in Adoree Jackson at corner. Those two can run with both of these guys, with Judy and Sutton. Not high on Sutton this week. I think that he'll probably see more Bradbury just from a height perspective. And then Jackson will cover Judy, and Jackson's one of the fastest corners in the league. We've seen Judy's route running ability. Jackson has the ability to play catch up, even if he gets shook. So give me Ayuk in a much better matchup.
All right. In PPR, are you starting Judy, Corey Davis, or Jacoby Myers?
Corey Davis all day, twice this Sunday. Every DFS
Corey
lineup.
Davis season.
Yes, every DFS. And here's the thing. I think the Jets are going to get absolutely boat raced. Davis is still probably going to score a touchdown. With the injuries, which this might be a good time to segue into the injuries, Jamison Crowder and Keelan Cole are going to miss the game. I have now bumped Corey Davis up. In my projections, I tend to project on the low end. I have Corey Davis at 10 targets. That might be his low end for this game. So Corey Davis all day.
Yeah, the way they were feeding him the football in preseason, give me all the Corey Davis.
Yeah, everyone's super pumped about Elijah Moore right now, and they have every right to be. And the thought process is Elijah Moore is going to slide into the slot. What you have to remember is we don't know how important the slot is going to be. This is not Adam Gaze's system anymore. This is now a San Francisco-esque system. Now Moore is also able to play on the outside, but Corey Davis lives on the outside. And like Josh brought up, we saw what happened in preseason week 2. Corey Davis feasted, and that's where Zach Wilson is going to go back to in a game that I expect the Jets to be down 21 points by halftime.
I hate the Jets. Sorry, not sorry, Michael Hendrickson, because I know you're a Jets fan, but I hate them. Okay, Carrington has more of a season-long start question regarding the receiving core of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who is going to be the most reliable? He says he's leaning towards Godwin, but he has more share of Evans. But then we also have newly acquired stud. I agree, Trixie. Her timing is impeccable this morning. Antonio Brown, AB. Who'd have thunk that? Not me.
Reliable is Chris Godwin. I've been preaching this from the very beginning. This was always going to be Godwin's team. I think you're going to see some weird combination of Evans, Brown, and Gronk, where 2 of them are going to have good games and someone's going to get froze out. Even Brown, I love that I'm seeing tweets, and I don't even remember who they were, and I'm not going at anybody in particular, but Brown's 4 years ago form, and look at Antonio Brown, but then he immediately drops like a crucial 3rd down ball. That's not Brown from 4 years ago. So we can just stop with all that madness. And I understand Chris Godwin dropped a big ball as well, but Brady keeps going back to him. And if you go and look at just about every clutch situation from Monday night, he was throwing to Chris Godwin. That was his outlet. That was when they needed to get up the field. That's not going to change. You're going to hope there are better days for the running backs. I don't hope, because I didn't draft either of the running backs, but some people are going to hope there are better days from the running backs. It's Chris Godwin day all day.
Yeah, this Bruce Arians offense, it funnels to the slot.
Yep.
That's where Chris Godwin runs from. The thing with Evans is he's of those 3 wide receivers, he is the most boomer bust. He is the most touchdown reliant. I understand everybody's like, well, he got 7 straight 1,000-yard season, and that's absolutely fantastic. Good for him. 1,000 yards over 16 games is barely 60 yards a game.
Yep.
Like, it's not that impressive anymore, especially in a pass-happy era like this. So when you have these types of wide receivers, and it's going to be the same thing with Dallas, like somebody's going to get frozen out week to week. To me, it's Evans. But again, the touchdowns will keep him elevated. He's just going to be very Tyler Lockett-esque. You never know when the right week to start him is going to be.
Yeah,
but Godwin will be that guy.
I'm going to walk back Josh's comments because while 1,000 yards is not all that impressive, Evans is the only one to do it 7 straight seasons, and what he's done is
again, I'm not. I know how that came off, and I'm sorry.
I was like, bro. Mike Evans is a far better, and this isn't to disparage his fantasy output. He's a far better football player than he is a fantasy asset because of his inconsistency. Josh, you hit the nail on the head. He's Tyler Lockett. He's Brandon Cooks from a few years ago. This is really what the wide receiver position has developed to in fantasy football. At best, I think last year, I think Tyreek Hill was a wide receiver 1 8 times out of 17 games. I might be wrong about that. He only played 15 of those games, but you're looking at 50% output. So it's hard because Evans is good for 2 catches, and sometimes those 2 catches are 2 touchdowns, and sometimes they're 13 yards. It's just you don't know what Evans you're going to get. What he brings to the Bucs can't be put into words because he has to be accounted for every single time he's on the field. But again, 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons is impressive.
Again, I know how it came off, and I wasn't trying to discredit him. It is very impressive. But my point of it's 62, 63 yards a game, if that's 5 catches, that's not a great fantasy day.
Yeah.
But you need that touchdown, and that's where Evans relies upon. So.
He wasn't trying to discredit him. He was just trying to bring more light to the situation.
I bring it up every time we talk about him. Mike Evans has the Deathly Hallows tattooed on his forearm. So
yes.
I am a forever Mike Evans fan and can tolerate no Mike Evans disrespect. So.
No Mike Evans slander. Oh, speaking of what, I was just going to say, I noticed the Hogwarts representation. Well done, sir. Okay, I have to.
There's a D at the end of use. Come on, Michael.
He's from New York. That's
where you were going with that face.
He's from no. I was just bringing it up that he doesn't like us anymore. He's from New York.
Plus, we gave
they add letters and subtract letters and do whatever they want to.
Plus, we gave his team the D earlier. That's why he doesn't like us anymore.
Oh,
Michael, we love you.
We just
not
the Jets.
Not the Jets this week.
Or ever. What do you mean this week?
I say I'm not against the Jets, but I am very pro Carolina in week 1.
Speaking of Carolina.
Yes.
Weird segue. All right, in a full PPR, are you starting Tyson Williams against Las Vegas, Trey Sermon against Detroit, or Michael Carter against Carolina? Hence the segue.
Definitely not Carter.
I think you have to go Tyson Williams at this point as the
de facto one.
Yeah, de facto one. I think he has the highest touchdown upside. I think he has the highest snap count upside. I think he has the highest volume upside of all of those Baltimore running backs, just because everybody else is trying to find their feet. Bell and Freeman, as of this morning, aren't even on the 53 yet. They're still on the practice squad. I think they have to come up by today.
Which I think they will.
Yeah, you have to deal with Latavius Murray, who obviously he's in camp shape. I'm not worried about Latavius Murray being in shape, but he doesn't know the offense. So he's going to be used in more goal line situations. I think Tyson Williams ends up being more of the pass pro guy, which is not his strongest suit yet. But by default, he's the only one who knows what's going on there. I don't love him, but I love him way more than the other two guys you have mentioned. I just don't know what to feel about Trey Sermon yet, and I'm not starting Michael Carter.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on Sermon. I think it's a great matchup against Detroit. But again, that's Raheem Mostert's job right now. So if they get up 5 touchdowns before halftime, sure, we can see Trey Sermon in the second half and he'll have a great game. But if you're banking on that, that's a variable that can be very unpredictable, which is why it's called a variable.
Yep.
Tyson Williams, we know he's getting the volume. He's getting the snap counts. The Raiders gave up the 4th most fantasy points to running backs a year ago. Add in the fact that they have a running quarterback that a defense has to take advantage of. This will be a Tyson Williams game if he's going to be any good. This is the week you will find out if Williams is going to be the guy. They like him. Obviously, they need him to be the guy because of all the injuries they've had at the running back position. And the running backs they brought in, Bell, has already come out and said his legs are not under him yet. You mentioned Latavius Murray. He's in camp shape because he was, with the Saints up until about 3 days ago. But again, still has to learn the offense, and he's never been a very efficient runner. And this offense breeds efficiency. So right now, I would bank on Williams over Sermon. Sermon probably has higher upside, but again, that's a big variable.
Yeah, I have the Baltimore Vegas game. I have the Baltimore Vegas game as my biggest blowout this week. It's hard to count field goals in projections, but I have Baltimore scoring 5 touchdowns as a team. I have the Raiders only scoring 2. So I think this is going to be a very lopsided game, and that's going to lend itself to Tyson Williams coming away with a lot of yardage.
Agreed.
Speaking of Tyson Williams, in a full PPR, are you starting Tyson Williams or Jamar Chase in the flex position?
Well, Jamar Chase certainly hasn't done himself any damn favors in the press this week, has he?
No.
God, that's in full PPR. I'm going to go back to my wonderful hedging that I always go to. If I'm favorite, I'm starting Tyson Williams. If I'm an underdog, I'm going to start Jamar Chase just because I think the Bengals are going to have to throw a ton. So,
what did I miss?
He said he can't. He's having trouble seeing the ball without the white line.
Oh,
and he's having trouble catching it.
Which again, he came out on Twitter and said that he was, taken out of context, or that's not what I said at all. Blah blah blah. Again, this was quoted by Pro Football Talk, which they're notoriously get shit wrong all the freaking time. So, but regardless of that fact, I'm starting Williams all day, every day. Right now, I don't want anything to do with Chase after seeing what he did in training camp. I think it's going to be slow going for him right now. Give me all the Boyd and T. Higgins in that game. Chase might get some run. I don't know that he's going to 100% score because at this point, if he can't catch the football, why are you throwing it to him in the end zone?
Yeah.
Throw it to T. Higgins, who's going to come down with it 70% of the time.
The biggest concern with Chase having not played in the period of time he hasn't played is what's he going to do when that first pro safety knocks his block off? Is he going to be able to get right back into the game? So,
yeah, give me all the Williams in that matchup.
All right. So, in what's listed as standard PPR,
that's fair.
Start 2, sit 1. T. Higgins, Robbie Anderson, Laviska Shenault. So basically, who are you sitting? Make life easier.
I love all three of these this week.
I was going to say it's rough.
It's rough. I would bench Shenault. I think this is going to be more of a Marvin Jones game. Personally, again, he's the guy that knows the offense, so I think they'll target him probably a little bit more. But as I mentioned, we talked about that Cincy game. It's going to be a shootout. I want all the T. Higgins, Robbie Anderson revenge game. Give me all the all the Panthers this week against the Jets. So I'm fading Shenault, but I don't think there's really a wrong answer here.
Yeah, Chenault's the unproven commodity. I agree completely. Higgins and Robbie, fire him up.
Okay, so first part of this question: are you starting Darnold or Stafford?
Oh,
Stafford.
I have to actually go to my projections. I love Sam Darnold this week.
I'm going Stafford. It's in prime time. It's a new team. The Bears secondary, I think, is really overrated personally. And they're going to throw the football. I don't know how much confidence yet that they have with saying, all right, Henderson, we're going to give you 20, 25 touches this week. Everybody knows how we feel about Sonny Michel on the show. So, yeah, give me all the Stafford this week.
By a whopping 1.41 fantasy points. Matthew Stafford.
There you go.
I like them both.
With Darnold, I would much rather see it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going back to the Laviska Shenault question. That's where I am with Darnold as well. I fully believe it's going to happen, but I would like to see it. So,
yeah.
And in a post-move, did I screw up aspect, he wants to know, he dropped Giovanni Bernard for Phillip Lindsay and Michael Gallup for Terrace Marshall Jr. Was that a good move?
No issue with the Bernard for Lindsay. I think dropping Gallup was a little premature. I don't want to. Going to be enough in that. Well, I mean, look, they're both wide receiver 3. One of them actually has an 1,100-yard season on their resume. The other one's
Josh, you might have missed Gallup. They're saying it's out 3 to 5 weeks. I'm not holding him on my roster. Yeah. So.
Well, but again, if you made this move, he's already locked in your lineup. So you made that move prior to the injury.
No, if he's playing on Yahoo, he's playing on Yahoo, you can cut non-starters.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't played on Yahoo in years, so.
I'm playing on Yahoo again this year. But fun fact, the only 2 leagues that I have that are on Yahoo are all women.
I was gonna say if you're playing with Liz, I'm sure she
am
it on Yahoo. Yep,
right? Yeah,
of course she does. I mean, it's only fair.
Pre-injury, I would go Gallup, obviously, but yeah.
Yes,
if he's going to be out
100%.
Yeah, that's a good move. So.
Yeah, with 3 to 5 weeks. Now, here's the other thing. I'm guessing also you didn't have IR spots because it might have been better to wait because he's going to go to IR at this point.
But like you said, I mean, if this is a game where Carolina's going to run, Marshall could very easily be a touchdown guy. If he scores, he's going to be a hot waiver commodity. So. You don't have the time then to throw him in your IR.
I say you're getting ahead of the waivers and you're getting ahead of climbing trade bait because somebody is going to. I fully do believe Terrace Marshall scores a touchdown this week. I'm all in on the Panthers. It's ridiculous how all in I am on the Panthers. I do think he scores a touchdown, but I also think he's great trade bait after he does that. Everybody has rookie fever with what Justin Jefferson did last year, and I don't know if you could expect that every year, and it's certainly not necessarily with Terrace Marshall.
I mean, we have a reiteration of his lineup.
Yeah.
So it's a solid lineup, except he's sad that the Bucs defense only gave him 5 points
this week. Love it.
Yeah, James Robinson is probably filthy this week. Interestingly enough, you have like 4 people that got brought up between our DFS articles this week. So nice job on building a lineup that our DFS writers absolutely love because Najee and James Robinson are actually the top 2 running backs for Kira's cash grabs.
Yep.
And our boy Doug, who I don't think is going to make it today, he actually talked about starting the Bucs defense. And I know you say they only gave you 5 points. In fantasy defense, you're either going to get the big swing, 5 points, or 0. So 5 points is better than 0 or negative. So let's go ahead and take that. You should have started Carolina's defense.
Oh, Ryan.
So wrong.
If Carolina gets beat, I may have to retire from fantasy football because every show we've done this week.
You're not allowed to play fantasy football.
Yes, according to that crazy British soccer fan, I'm not allowed to play fantasy football after 40. So, there was a tweet this morning. Josh is announcing my retirement for me. So,
Josh announcing our retirement.
Josh, I like to pretend you're younger than me because you're so much cooler than I am. But
don't tell him that because
you're the only person ever that thinks that.
No. He called me when he got his new mattress, and he's like, "It's so great for my back."
Okay, yeah, that's definitely some old man shit right there.
Exactly. Exactly right.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, you know what? We got some time. We just got our furniture this week, and I got to sleep on my fucking mattress again, and it was great for my back. So I completely relate. I got
a new mattress 2 weeks ago, and it's amazing.
There you go.
Our furniture showed up late. We finally got everything set up, but we're where we need to be.
Also, I feel like I need to address. So Oklahoma Duck was supposed to join us. He still might, who knows, but I feel like you all need to know the reason why.
Yeah,
he had a pregnant cow with a broken leg, so he had to take her to the vet.
So mark that on your bingo card.
Doug lives on a ranch.
Yes.
Where, Josh?
In Oklahoma.
What? Shocker.
Yeah, my response to that was, on the list of reasons I've never thought I'd hear, that was high. Like it's not a normal reason.
That wasn't even on the list. Be honest, Ryan.
No. Pregnant cow, broken leg.
Nope. Okay, so in a standard scoring format, he needs an RB and a flex. Okay, so Monty. Fun fact: I am Team Monty. Gaskin, Harris, Davis, Higgins, and Laviska.
So standard scoring, I'm going to assume we're using the correct parlance, and that means no PPR at all. I don't like Monty to score a touchdown this week.
I don't really like Monty at all this week, personally.
Give me Damian Harris and T. Higgins.
Higgins, absolutely. Of those 3 running backs, I think I'd lean Harris. I have zero faith in Davis. And Gaskin, I'm tempted by Gaskin only because I know he's going to add more yards via the air than Harris will.
You know, that's not a bad point because that game, I do in my head, sorry, Faith, have Miami controlling and winning that game.
Screw you.
Rookie quarterbacks week 1, not great.
Yeah.
Screw both of you.
It is close between Harris and Gaskin. I mean, I think, honestly, do we have to even talk about Mike Davis? The Eagles' defense isn't fantastic.
But their run defense is good.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with mine. Give me Harris. I'm expecting a big week out of Harris as finally the guy. Harris and
Not
Higgins
to make things harder for you, Shades, but I'll go Higgins and Gaskin.
But we know Higgins. We got that one right.
Yeah. We got one.
Faith is Team Monty. So.
Damn it, Doug. This is where we need you. Break the tie.
You know what? I'll go Harris because he's a Patriot, and I really want them to win. So there's your tiebreaker.
I'm going to sound like Joe. See, this is why you're both wrong. So.
That means I'm on the right side this week.
Exactly. Okay, so Joe, speaking of Joe, different Joe, has his current tight end is Higbee, and he had a proposed trade. So he gives Tyreek and Eckler, but then he gets Kamara and Kittle in a full PPR with 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 3 flex spots. He's also got McLaurin, Robinson, Ayuk, Thielen, and Marvin Jones. Should he accept? I would say yes.
Yeah, you're getting the best player, which is Kamara. Give me all of that.
You're getting the 2 best players because I put Kittle and his consistency over Tyreek. I love Tyreek, and Tyreek will win you some weeks. But
Kittle lose you
Kittle,
a lot of weeks, too.
assuming Kittle is Kittle, and I understand that's a big assumption, but he looked good when he played last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kamara and Kittle for me all day long. I am every team, and it's funny because Josh and I wrote an article against each other last year where Josh preached big 3 tight ends and I pitched streaming tight ends, and I'm all about streaming tight ends. If you have to, if you can get a big 3, get a big 3.
Here you have the opportunity to do it.
Get George Kittle.
And you have good wide receivers.
Smash that accept
Allen Robinson, Brandon Ayuk with the upside, Thielen.
Yeah, because on this team you can start 5 wide. And so literally you can start all 5 of those guys every week. And now you have tight end. And technically it sounds like you still have Higbee, who I think Higbee is going to have a decent season. I think he's going to have a great week 1, and I think he's going to be trade bait after this week. So do your best to not just give him away in this trade. I think there are going to be teams struggling for tight end after week 1, and Higbee's a guy you might be able to move for more again after this week.
You could also do that, or you could just stash Higbee and brace for the Kittle injury.
There will be no Kittle injury.
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, Joshua. I don't know that I have any shares of Kittle, but I still rebuke it.
I have plenty.
I don't want Stoner pissed at me. Well, gentlemen.
While we let more questions pop up, I did just get this in my DMs.
Oh,
Chase
I was going to
Edmonds
have
versus
Ryan
Tennessee.
do injuries.
He can wait. Chase Edmonds versus Tennessee. DJ Chark versus Houston. Or Jared Jeudy versus the Giants, half PPR.
Oh, I would go Chase Edmonds. I like Chase Edmonds. I think he is going to be the primary pass catcher in what is either the first or second highest over under on the week. Give me Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I'm going to lead Edmonds as well. Like I said, I'm out on Jeudy this week. Chark is definitely a good matchup, but like I said, I think this is going to be big Marvin Jones. I think they're going to lean on him in the early weeks as the rest of the team starts to really learn Darrell Bevil's offense. And Jones already knows it from his time in Detroit. So, give me Evans, especially in the half PPR where I know he's getting the rushing yards as well, on top of pass catching ability. So,
Faith, you want to knock out the injury report?
Do I want to knock it out, or do you want to knock it out?
You're the host. You do the work. I'm going to scour my DMs for more questions.
Oh,
there
you're going to pull a Lauren?
Yes.
You're just going to be the groom and show up?
Exactly.
She's prettier than you. No. Every offense.
Without question.
Every offense intended. All right. So, injured this week. For our quarterbacks, Carson Wentz is questionable on whether or not he will start. If you are relying on Carson Wentz to win you this week, I'm sorry. For more reasons than one.
You really didn't. Because I believe they've come out and said he will start.
Yeah, I didn't write that very well. He was listed as questionable, but he will start.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this is why Ryan should have done these, because he wrote them and he understands them. Also, so we're moving on to running backs. Saquon Barkley and Austin Eckler are both questionable. Eckler is likely to play, but nobody knows what Saquon Barkley is going to do. So plan accordingly, which means I now need to go plan accordingly because I have Saquon Barkley and Link.
I think he's going to play. I think the team is just really playing.
Oh, I'm sure.
With him.
I didn't like that
I'm definitely
come
more
out and say he was
Eckler,
playing.
Honestly,
I didn't like that Barkley wouldn't say he was playing yesterday. That came off as weird to me because players are always confident and overconfident they're going to play. So I don't know if maybe they were lectured about not giving away information in the press, but I don't like that he wouldn't guarantee he was going to play yesterday. That was a weird stance by a player on an injury.
They're trying the New England approach to media.
Well, and to be fair, Joe Judge from the New England tree, very well could have been a lecture. And if that's the case, I'm happy to be wrong. I want Barkley to do well, but the whole thing struck me.
I'm relying on him.
Yeah.
Wide receivers.
I think a lot of people are. I mean, you drafted in the first round, second round in some cases where people just got scared and, they faded them. But, I mean, this is a prime opportunity where if you have a free bench spot, go grab Devontae Booker.
Wide receivers. Curtis Samuel is out for Washington. Traquan Smith is out for the New Orleans. Both of them are on IR and will miss at least 3 weeks. N'Keal Harry is out for New England, which, let's face it, isn't really much of a loss. Keelan Cole and Jamison Crowder are both out for the Jets. Again, to the Jets.
I love Corey Davis.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham, Nelson Aguilar, Daryl Mooney, and Emmanuel Sanders are all questionable, so keep an eye out on those tomorrow morning as we get closer to kickoff.
Odell Beckham is rough. I want to point out he's a 4:00 game. So if you have Odell Beckham, you may want him in your flex right now so that you have more flexibility on who you can replace him with tomorrow afternoon if you're relying on Odell. Because if you put him in a wide receiver spot, you have to replace him with a wide receiver. It gets a little strange. With him being a 4:00 kickoff, you're kind of limiting your options. So just keep that in mind. If I had all 1:00 games and Odell Beckham, I would bench Odell Beckham because if I don't have anyone to slide in the replacement, 1, you don't know if he's going to play, and 2, I actually don't like him that much in this game. So,
yeah, I was going to say, of all of those, the only one that I really like is Mooney.
Yeah.
And Evan Engram is out for the New York Football Giants.
That makes Kyle Rudolph, who is my number 3 or 4 stream of the week, maybe even 5. I don't know. That makes him, now that it's confirmed, that makes him a lot more appealing.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
He's dealing with his own injury, but he's expected to play. So
now I want to play Christmas music, and Josh loves it so much.
I was going to say no.
So, brief interjection. Josh and I spent the weekend at our friend stepmom Lauren's house last December, like right before Christmas. And when I picked Josh up, I had Christmas music playing because I know how much he hates it. And I love Christmas music, but he's a giant Grinch. He gets in the car and he goes, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Josh, did you work retail?
Yes. My first job actually was at Hallmark.
Okay.
And they played Christmas music 8 months out of the year.
I was a manager for many years at a company called Things Remembered. They do engravings and dolls. Engravings. And so Christmas time it's like PTSD for me at this point. So
I've never worked retail, so yeah, I still love Christmas.
I promise you, I'm going to make a note. When we get closer to Christmas time, I'm going to do a Twitter study of retail versus non-retail versus love of Christmas music.
By the way, just put up a tweet. All signs point to Beckham playing versus the Chiefs.
Okay, there we go. See, good to know. Okay, so
Sean Godwin in the building, folks.
Welcome. It only took you 43 minutes to join us, Sean.
Yeah, better late than ever. You know, when you run the show, sometimes you just need time to yourself.
Just a reminder. Better late
than never.
This show runs on your questions, so throw them in the chat. Don't be scared. Any question you have, we're more than happy to answer it for you.
I just want to point out it's better late than never, Josh, not better late than ever. Just what you said.
I thought I said never. Oh well.
Nope, you said ever.
Never.
Okay.
It's before noon. I've already started drinking. What do you want from me?
Ay. All right. So Joe has a last one.
Joe, get us more. It doesn't have to be your last one.
Is Allen Robinson a must start against Ramsey and the Rams, or should he plug Marvin Jones against, and I have to read all of this, the dumpster fire that is the Houston Texans defense?
Pretty sure I called him a dumpster fire 3 times on my stream of the week video. So we're not going to have many fans in Houston after this week.
Oh,
Josh is better with corner matchups, so I'm going to let Josh take the first part of the question. But my answer is you want Jones in your lineup, maybe not at the sacrifice of Allen Robinson. But Josh, go ahead.
So, and I'm actually taking this from Mike Clay's wide receiver cornerback matchup on ESPN Plus. So obviously, if you have ESPN Plus, by all means, give it a read. There's a lot of great information from there. But in 2019, in Week 11, when Ramsey shadowed Allen Robinson on 30 of his 49 routes, Robinson was held to 4 catches on 15 yards, on 6 targets. So last season, Ramsey did not shadow when they played, and Robinson was targeted 4 times, posted a 4 for 70. With the secondary issues, I don't even really want to call them issues, but they the Rams lost some help in their secondary.
Yes. Major
This past
help. John
offseason.
Johnson and Troy Hill both to the Browns.
Yeah, so if I'm guessing, I think Ramsey will shadow Robinson. This is the farthest thing from a good matchup for Ramsey, which is why I like Mooney this week. And again, everybody has seen the video when Mooney just absolutely shakes Jalen Ramsey out of his cleats. Like, Mooney's route running to me, absolutely elite. So I worry less about him, and he's going to see more of the second corner anyway. With Robinson, it's all about target volume. And Andy Dalton absolutely sucks. I would not be shocked if this is a big tight end week. So for me, I have zero issue benching Allen Robinson in favor of Marvin Jones. I've been all on board the Marvin Jones bandwagon this week, and I'm going to be absolutely hurting if Jones completely lays an egg. But yeah, I have zero issue fading Robinson this week. Take that for what you will.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing at lays an egg.
Oh.
Sean was late because he was on his 9-mile warm-up bike ride.
I should have put together
9 miles of a warm-up?
I was going to say, I should have put together that Sean was psychotic because he's our biggest fan, but that just solidifies it because 9 miles is not a warm-up. 9 miles is zombie apocalypse, and I have to get away. So.
Sean, we love you. I promise you. We're not laughing at you.
No, we are.
Someone better call the local police.
We're just a bunch of lazy fucks that would never warm up with a 9-mile bike ride. So there's that.
I would never warm up with a 1-mile bike ride.
To be fair, I ride when I'm set back up. I ride about 5 miles every day. So.
If I'm gonna do cardio, I prefer an elliptical. There's something about stationary bikes or even a regular bike just bothers my tailbone.
It's fair.
Again, I'm old now. I'm almost 35.
That's according to British soccer fans. We're all in the twilight of our fantasy football careers.
Well, I never had one to begin with, so
there you go. Yeah, right.
All right. Sean wants to know, in a PPR flex, is he starting T. Higgins or Kareem Hunt? Chubb and JT are his starting RBs.
T. Higgins to the moon.
Yeah, it's got to be T. Higgins. I like Kareem Hunt this week a lot, but if I'm choosing between those two, I was going to say three because do I want to throw out that I might start Hunt over Chubb altogether? I know we had that debate earlier in the show, but Higgins for sure.
This is why you're on the bottom of the stream, Ryan.
Josh, do we need to water bet this? Hunt versus Chubb. Hunt versus Chubb in PPR this week.
I'm sure my roommate would absolutely love to throw water on me.
Yeah, I'm sure my son would as well. So
there you go. Chill out.
I was gonna say I'll have to move my camera if you're putting me up top there. It looks like I have no forehead.
That's what I'm saying.
I just did it because Josh was like, "That's why you're on the bottom," and I was like,
okay, completely missed it.
Okay, so what?
Basement Boy for Life from the Women of Fantasy shows last year.
Basement Boys.
We're on the bottom, and it was the Basement Boys.
Well, Josh was down there too when you added our guest because it was me and Lauren and then our guests.
Right.
And then the Basement Boys.
Boys with a Z.
With a Z. Okay, Stanley wants to know, since Jacobs is questionable, should he start a different running back in full PPR? I don't know. Who are your other running backs, Stanley?
I was going to say, Stanley, if you could throw the other ones in there. I don't know that I'm running away from Josh Jacobs. I'm running away from that matchup, though. So,
yeah, agreed. Jacobs is Jacobs. I mean, he's going to be very inefficient. The Raiders made a lot of offensive line moves. Right now, we don't know if they're for the better. Being questionable is just that. It's questionable. More than half the time, they're going to end up playing.
Yeah, I'll be honest. He didn't even pop up on my injury list, but I think it's because Monday reports aren't official right now. So, correct. Yeah,
again, really depending on your other running backs. Right now, I would keep Jacobs in until A, you tell us who your other running backs are, and B, until further information is released.
Mm-hmm.
You have 49 running backs? No, you mean he means both.
Definitely Mostert. Yeah, I would. Okay.
Yeah,
I would put Mostert in over Jacobs
Yes.
all day and 4 times on Monday. So
Yep. Me and Joe Zolo predicted at the exact same time on the Wednesday show. Don't let him tell you he said it 1 minute before I could. At the exact same time we predicted Raheem Mostert breaks the first carry of the game for a touchdown against Detroit. If it happens, Ryan Weiss and Joe Zolo predicted it at the same time.
I'm gonna go and go watch that and find.
No, there's no video evidence. It doesn't matter.
Then that leads me to believe that you are not telling us the complete truth, Ryan Weiss.
I tried to be polite and let the host talk, and I wanted to say it, and then he said it and ruined everything. Raheem Mostert, touchdown. First
Joe
touchdown.
ruins everything.
He does. That's why we kicked him off this show.
Okay, in a clarified tweet under this, he asks T. Williams or Sutton in a half PPR.
You mean Tyson Williams?
Ooh, I was thinking Tyrell because we're talking wide receivers.
Ooh.
I mean,
well,
here's the thing.
We got my thoughts on Tyrell Williams on Wednesday. So if that, I mean, look, I'm not high on Sutton this week. If we're talking Tyrell Williams from Detroit, absolutely not. You're going Cortland Sutton. If we're talking Tyson Williams, the running back with Baltimore, give me Tyson over Sutton.
So we rank them Tyson, Sutton, Tyrell. I agree with that ranking. So.
Oh my gosh, they agreed, you guys.
That might be the first time this show.
You know, I'm so glad that you guys could come together and be unified on this day. It means a lot to the American people.
What we're really going to find out is that he meant like Trent Williams, the offensive tackle, and things are just super weird.
Now that is some wild fantasy football settings right there. Love it. Love it.
Sounds like Weenus, our good friend, our good friend Cooter Doodle started a league that literally has 0 penalty points. Yeah. You get positive points for a fumble, for an interception. It is pure chaos, and I am here for it.
There you go. You clarified. Tyson Williams. There you go.
All right, there you go. There you go. All right, Sean's question. In a PPR, pick 2 to start. Melvin Gordon, DJ Moore, Sonny Michel, or Nelson Aguilar?
I think I can speak for everyone when I say DJ Moore is a smash play into that lineup. So you're choosing between Gordon, Michel, and Aguilar. I'm going to, no matter which one I pick, I know Josh hates both of them. I'm going to go Melvin Gordon. It's close between Gordon and Michel for me. I'm avoiding Aguilar at this point until I know what Mac Jones is. So,
yeah, I would go Gordon here as well. Aguilar, he's a big play guy. That's it. And is there a chance that he could? Absolutely. I mean, if he lines up opposite Xavier Howard, look, we know all about Howard's ability to pick off passes. It's very Asante Samuel-like, but he can also get burned very deep, and that's Aguilar's game. So, again, Mac Jones is going to be key there. If Mac Jones is who we saw in the preseason and really is the mature standout quarterback that doesn't play like a rookie, Aguilar is going to have some value as the season goes on. But in terms of wide receivers on that team, I want Jacoby Myers. I don't want Nelson Aguilar. So I'm going to go Gordon here, mostly because of the pass catching ability that Sonny Michel has not displayed in the NFL. So, and again, it's PPR. So yeah, more and Gordon.
Well, there you go. Moore and Gordon. More Gordon. That's what I heard. All right. Well, we are temporarily out of questions, which is beautiful timing, as it is 11:54.
Yeah.
So, if you don't know, if you only watch our live streams, thank you for coming to stare at our beautiful faces. It has nothing to do with the advice that these two give, because we know that they're almost 40 and are reaching the peak of their fantasy football
I'm literally counting down the days to January 13th, and I'm done with this stuff.
Starting the countdown, everybody.
We're going to fly to New York and have a retirement party for you.
Over.
Hey, I'll be there in 3 weeks.
There you go. Pre-retirement party.
You will be nowhere near Ryan.
No, not at all. No.
We'll have a drink.
Manhattan and Albany are not close.
We'll have a drink at the exact same time.
It's actually the Bronx.
There you go.
Drink together in New York. So.
There you go. I'll sit in front of a picture of New York and have a drink together too. It's like the same thing. Again, if you only watch our live streams, first of all, thank you. But if you don't know, Club Fantasy has a plethora of written advice and entertainment that runs the gamut from debates to DFS starts to inside looks at teams and who you should start. And here to tell you more about that is the lovely and talented Joshua Hudson.
First off, thank you to everyone that chimed in the chat and that is tuned in watching this whole stream. We've picked up new subscribers on YouTube. We are 7 short of our 200 milestone, which means when we hit 200, I'm giving away some free shit, y'all. I got plenty of
free shit, y'all.
Memorabilia, from jerseys to helmets to footballs, signed by all your favorite fantasy football stars. So do us a favor, hit the subscribe button. Every Wednesday, No Punt Intended, with myself, Ryan Weiss down below, Joe Zolo, our missing co-host. All about it. Bring the heat. We're previewing every week, upside downside plays, blurred lines picks, betting against the spreads, Ryan's stream of the weeks, whole 9 yards. We bring it all. Thursdays, DFS and Chill, hosted by Ryan, with our lead DFS writer, Kira Wojtrowski, different guests every single week. Real quick, Ryan, do we have a guest for next Thursday yet?
No.
Okay. That will be announced later this week, and that's fine. Starting in 12 days will be the 2021 debut of Club Dynasty with one of our featured Dynasty writers, Zach Smith, at FF Wu-Tang Forever on Twitter. And we'll also be bringing in different guests to talk about how to operate your Dynasty teams as the season goes forward and different players that pop up here and there, etc. And again, every Saturday, Start Sit, different day, hosted by Faith Enes, featuring myself, Ryan, and typically Joe. And usually we'll have a guest every single week. Sorry, Doug, that you weren't able to make it this week, but
our thoughts to your pregnant cow and her baby.
Yeah. I mean, some things in life you just can't predict, and that's fine. We get it. And also keep a lookout for Ryan's micro episodes. He does video forms now of his stream of the week. So top 5 at quarterback, tight end, and defense that you're able to stream that are available in more than 50% of Yahoo leagues, as well as our new partnership with Thrive Fantasy. Ryan does a top 5 video of his top 5 big swings, which accompanies our weekly Thrive Prop Bet Fantasy article written by Chris Molina. Lots of good stuff. Check out the website, www.clubfantasyffl.com. And of course, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/clubfantasyffl.
Speaking of Thrive Fantasy, Ryan, why don't you give the people more details about that?
Yeah, Thrive Fantasy is a combination of player prop betting and DFS, where they're going to give you 20 possible player props in the main slate every week, and you're going to choose over or under. It's catches, it's completions, yardage, touchdowns. It's different every week for every player. You're going to choose your favorite 10. The more likely something is to happen, the fewer points it's worth, the less likely, the more points it's worth. So the goal is to be right and score more points than the other people in your tournament or your head-to-head. So it's a very cool combination. Like I said, the prop betting part of it is obviously choosing the over-under. The DFS part is it being a part of a tournament and having points assigned to those values. I think everybody on the Club Fantasy team who played this week won money on Thursday. So they do small slates on Thursday. They do big slates on Sunday. They do a bunch of free rolls, but more importantly, and I don't think the link will be in the description, but if you go to any of our YouTube pages or go to
the link is in the description on this.
Okay, there you go. You can click on our link. They'll match you up to $100. So you're getting money before you ever bet any money. And then we have all the resources to help you win some money when you're betting as well. So very, very cool site. And
it's like a win-win-win.
Yep, it is. And then my video.
Sorry.
My video is when Josh mentioned it's my top 5 big swings. It's all players who are worth more than the average amount of points, because the things that I'm telling you are less likely to happen, but I think they're going to happen. So there are chances to score a lot of points and hopefully win your tournament.
They don't call him the fantasy 5 for nothing.
That's right.
People.
Top 5 list. I'm getting back to my roots for these last 2 months before I retire. So
2 months.
3 months, 4 months, 4 months, 4 months. I don't know. What is the day?
That's why you're getting close to retirement, because your memory, your brain's going.
What's going on?
Oh, sweet mama jamma. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and Josh.
I don't even know how to take that.
Take that however you like. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for hanging out with us on a Saturday morning. Go watch college football. It's game day, y'all. Go Dogs. I mean, we're playing the University of Alabama Birmingham without our starting quarterback. So, dear God Almighty, we should still be okay. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but our defense is kind of like solid. Speaking of defense, how's Miami, Josh?
Oh, God. I would not be shocked if we lost to a D2 team this week.
I heard it.
Alabama beating the brakes off of us. Jesus. I mean, I kind of knew we were going to lose, but like.
Oh, it's Alabama.
That was just flat out.
Apparently, Nick Saban made a comment that he was disappointed in Alabama fans for not being more energetic about the win. And I'm like, you're Alabama. At this point, it's an expectation to win.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm on Saban's side. No complacency.
I mean, I get it,
no
but
breaks,
like,
baby.
Right.
And then you have Ryan, who doesn't care about football, just cares about his fantasy teams.
Exactly. Like I say, I don't care about college
facto
football.
Means he cares about fantasy.
I care about every
fantasy.
NFL game, every minute detail of an NFL game. Could not care less about college football. I pay attention to the college guys the second the draft gets brought up.
And that is the only point in time at which
I promise you this. I could not tell you who the best quarterback, running back, wide receiver. I don't know any of their names. You could literally say any name right now. I'd be like, yeah, all right, cool.
To be fair, I live in a bubble of the University of Georgia. I couldn't tell you starting quarterback for any other team.
I'm gonna wear my Georgia shirt for you next week, Faith. I'm just gonna keep wearing shirts for you. So.
Oh, thank you. Love you. Appreciate you. And then you got this one over here wearing a stupid Eagles hat.
Yeah, I like the Eagles too.
No, you don't. You just love how the players on their team perform for you in a fantasy aspect.
Which get Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith in your lineups this week. They are going to eat against that god-awful Falcons
beast.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We did it. Week 1. You made it to football tomorrow. Make sure you've got your snacks ready, your beer, your seltzer, your water, your Tang if you're Ryan.
Actually, fruit punch this week, but
throwing it up.
Yeah,
mixing it up.
I prefer. Yeah, let's mix it up. Let's not throw it up.
I said it. And I was like, 2 statements there. Oh, Stanley. There you go, Josh.
I like you already, Stanley.
Just
love it.
You.
Oh, we hit the wrong. Okay, so we hit the wrong one.
Again. Like, in a separate form, go Patriots. Again, I am Faith at FF_Leap of Faith. That is Josh Hudson at the number Hudsonian. And that is Ryan Weiss at the Fantasy 5. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy football tomorrow and Monday. Eat all of the snacks, and we will see you back here next week.